This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 8th year of talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, hey everybody, this is the Ramble, and I'm Alex, and we'll be here until midnight tonight from New York City. Ladies and gentlemen, we always love to talk to Larry Bubbles Brown. Hello, Larry.
Hello, Alex. It's your favorite time of year out here.
What do you mean, favorite time of year?
It's when it's the weekend when they have the Blue Angels fly about 10 feet over your house.
Jesus, I hated that. Oh my God, and it was scary too. You know, they what they do. The Blue Angels. This is the dumbest thing of all, right?
Yeah.
The Blue Angels announced that they're going to have a show on Sunday. All right, where they fly over the city and they strafe buildings and they come too close to buildings and all of that. And I'm surprised none of them have ever crashed.
It could happen one day.
It could happen. I mean, it's certainly not safe. But anyway, so they strafe the buildings and everything. But the stupid thing is, on Saturday they say we're having a rehearsal.
No, the rehearsals are like Thursday, Friday, then the shows are Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, Thursday and Friday. Okay, I forgot what day it was. But anyways, beforehand they say we're doing a rehearsal. Now, I wonder what happens on the rehearsals. We're not supposed to look?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do a rehearsal for something that noisy, that invading, you know? So, invasive, I guess I should be using.
Yeah, literally, sometimes it literally feels like the roof is peeling off your building.
Mm-hmm.
They're that close.
It's absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I hated them. And so every year, what I used to go on the air and just rail against them. Just say how horrible it was, you know. I mean, I don't see where this is a patriotic function, okay? You know, and I was the guy who didn't like the Blue Angels, and I wanted to have the city pass a law that they couldn't fly over city space. I mean, you're not allowed to fly that close over a city, are you?
Oh no, there's strict rules on that.
Yeah, but they could do it once a year, and they were within inches of buildings. You know,
and it's so amazing because this is probably the most anti-military city in the country, and everyone here loves it.
Yes, because I used to get hell for saying, "Let's make them illegal. Let's not let them fly any longer."
Yeah,
you know, and I'm going, you know, I'm sorry, I don't see this as a great idea, you know.
Well, let them do it over Stockton or some shithole. That doesn't matter if they blow it up, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So are they rehearsing today or tomorrow?
They will start, I think, tomorrow or Thursday.
Yeah, they'll start the rehearsals.
Yeah,
and the worst part was I did a morning show, so I had to get up at 5 o'clock, okay, which is not normal for me. So I would come home, and at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, precisely, I would put my head on the pillow and sleep for 2 hours. So I didn't have to go to bed really early at night, okay? And so I would try to get my nap. But then these things started flying overhead. They started about 1 o'clock in the afternoon with their damn rehearsal. And and it was annoying. It was vexing. I couldn't sleep. I mean, it was terrible. Now, and this was when I was much younger than I am now. So if I'm an old fart now, boy, I was an old fart then too.
Yeah. What? I know some people that actually leave town for the weekend
because of the noise, right?
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's very. I guess apparently, if you got a pet, they get totally freaked out. So.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, so what else is new?
That's pretty much it.
Okay, well, thanks for talking to us, Larry, and
Okay.
we'll see you next week. Yeah, I'm very bad at starting up conversation lately. I'm like tired all the time, and I think it's medication I'm taking. I've decided entirely that that's what it is, but I need to take the medication. So, what the hell. So, how's your health? What's happening to you? You were supposed to get a hernia operation, and then that didn't happen. And then wasn't there something else you were supposed to do? Are you there? Did we lose him? Did he disappear on us? He certainly did. Wow. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I'll call him again, and we'll...
You lost me.
Yeah, I don't know why. But anyway.
Happened before.
No, what I'm saying is, so what else is new? I mean, weren't you supposed to get a hernia operation, and there was one other thing you were supposed to... Oh, yeah, your eyes.
The hernia is now scheduled for Election Day, ironically. So.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm about a month away from that.
Yeah, you'll send your ballot in ahead of time. What is the...
Well, I've canceled the surgery twice before.
what is the recovery on a hernia?
I see things from 2 weeks to 2 months. So
Really?
they're very vague about it. Yeah, you can't. Somebody said you could increase your physical activity after 1 week, go 25% a week, and then 50% the next week, and 75.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, is it bothersome to you?
it was very painful yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, you see, I haven't had that problem. It was a little painful for a while, and then that stopped. And then I got that CT scan when they did my whole body and stuff, and they saw it, and they remarked that it was there was a hernia there, but it wasn't impacted or anything. So
Yeah. So unless it's causing you pain, don't worry about it.
Well, unless you want to, here's what you do. You don't want to go through the pain of something unless the pain of an operation, unless the pain you have to relieve it is worse than the pain you're going to have relieving it.
Exactly. Yes.
So we always wait for things to get as bad as possible, and then we do something about them. Does this impede your daily activities at all?
No, just sometimes it does get very painful. They say as long as you can pop it back in, you're in good shape.
So you can pop it back in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it hurt when you run?
Yeah, I ran yesterday. It did hurt. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I guess you got to get it taken care of. And then there's the eyes, which you were supposed to get done. The cataract.
Which I canceled again. So
they canceled it, right?
They canceled it, and I canceled it before. So
well,
I guess we're even. Then.
I get that done. That's simple.
People tell me that it's so easy. Yeah, the actual surgery said it takes like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it's not. You can't feel anything because they deaden your eye. With
Which
drops.
I can't believe they can numb your eyeball. It seems so weird
Wait,
to me.
the first time I ever had my eyeball numbed, you'll have to excuse me. I think I've lost the sense of the English language today. The thing about the first time I ever had my eyeballs deadened was I had a bad case of the conjunctivitis. I mean, really just lethal conjunctivitis. And so I finally went to an eye doctor, and what they do is they burn it out with nitric acid or something. I can't remember what they use. But before they burn it out, they deaden your eye. So I didn't feel anything. I felt like little bubbles, and that was about it. And that was the first time I ever had it deadened. So when they said, we're going to deaden your eye in order to do this, I knew that I wasn't going to feel anything, It's amazing. And it used to be that operation was a major operation. When you would
and I think you had to sleep with your head between sandbags. You couldn't move.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And now it's like, go home, wear the cup on your eye. There's like a little plastic cup. And then you go in the next day to see your doctor. He takes the cup off. He looks at your eye and gives you his blessing, says, keep using the drops till you run out. Yeah.
So that's one of the few things that actually did get better in this dystopian world.
Yeah. It is. Well, I mean, there were several things that are better. I mean, I'd probably be dead by now if it weren't for modern science and, so on, because I had that prostate cancer. And they do the seeds, and they do the radiation, and they do the fast radiation, and they do all that stuff. Okay. And it works, and you get cured of your particular ailment, as it were.
Yeah, you didn't go the way of William Hurt. So
what happened with William Hurt? I forgot. He died.
He died of prostate cancer last year.
Yeah.
Which seems you don't hear that happen very often anymore.
Well, you do. I'll tell you what. When you do, is if people get prostate cancer in their 50s and 60s, their chances of dying from it are higher than if you get it when I got it. Because when I got it, it's just a natural thing. If you live long enough, you're probably going to get prostate cancer. So I did, and they took care of it, and that was it. No big deal. So, I mean, hopefully, hear that? I'm knocking on alleged wood. There it is.
Knocking on laminate.
Well, there's a laminated wood. So if I knock on wood on the lamination part of it, does that still count as knocking on wood because the wood is below the lamination?
It throws it into question.
People, be sure to write me and give me the answer to that question. Because underneath it's wood. So there we go.
So the only other person I know that died of prostate cancer, celebrity-wise, I think was Frank Zappa.
Well, there are a lot of people that die of prostate cancer. It's not like you don't die of prostate cancer. Okay. But it's much more solvable in older people. When you're in your 50s and 60s, it could be a little aggressive at that early on. So, but in any event, I mean, I went through it. They took care of it, and so far I've been pronounced free and clear. So, we'll just wait and see. I hope it stays that way.
I think you're good to go.
Yeah.
Could be like, you don't want to be like Steve McQueen and die at 50. So.
Well, my biggest problem is, as you get older, folks, I know this isn't good broadcasting because we're always talking about our health, especially and death. But the fact is that my biggest problem is the medicine they give me for stuff. And I take the stuff for my neuropathy, and it knocks me out. It just really knocks me out. And I stopped taking it. Like last night I didn't take it, okay? And today I'm kind of suffering for not having taken it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So, and last night I had a harder time sleeping because it works as a good sleeping pill. So all those things considered, it's stuff like that. There are other pills, too, that you take. I found out that I think my thing that helps with cholesterol, statin, should be taken at night because it makes you drowsy. I didn't know that, and I've been taking it during the day and wondering why I was drowsy.
Oh,
and then I take a thing.
Cholesterol forms at night too. That's probably why.
Yeah. Then I have what I call my pee pill, which is tamsulosin, and that makes you really groggy. So I didn't take that last night either. So because I didn't take those drugs, I didn't get a restful sleep last night. So guess what? I'm groggy anyway. So and it's all this medicine and everything like that. I mean, come on. Isn't science good enough that we can take care of this in other ways now?
You would think, yeah. Well, I think about a last miracle drug was maybe penicillin was a miracle drug when it came out.
Oh, absolute miracle drug.
And it just worked like that, bang.
Yeah, and it people were, in the old days, if you got an infection, chances are you were going to die of an infection. But then penicillin came along. Boom, 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 takes care of it, easy peasy. Then when antibiotics came along, that improved on penicillin because some people were allergic to penicillin. And so they give you antibiotics, knocks everything out. Everything's just fine. Simple.
But now you don't. Now they just try to get things that you have to take for the rest of your life so they can make more money.
Oh yeah. I mean, this stuff, this pregabalin I take for the neuropathy that makes me loopy, I probably would have to take for the rest of my life. Yeah, and so I'm going to be loopy for the rest of my life. And it also throws off my balance. So I'm sometimes almost fall on the floor. It's ridiculous. But I mean, the old. I love constantly saying the old Betty Davis line, "Getting old ain't for sissies." And it's true. It's true. It's just, I mean, I think about, gee, what if I live to be 100? I don't want to die, so I'd like to live to be 100. But if I have to live to be 100, and I'm bumping into walls and everything, I don't know if I want that.
No.
So
I look at celebrities that die younger than I am, and that's my latest quest. Like I told you, Steve McQueen died. I can't believe he died at 50. That seems just impossible.
Was it 50?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he got something where he was looking for a cure for it, and he
went down to Mexico. He had there was a tumor in around his stomach that was like 70 pounds.
Yeah, but I bet they could take care of that today.
Today, probably, yeah.
I use as a perfect example my father. My father died of a pituitary tumor. Now, people don't know where the pituitary is. It's in a very hard to get to place. It's if you put your finger in the center of your forehead and then the center of your top of your head, where they intersect is where the pituitary is. And it was almost impossible to operate on, without making you, I don't know, lose memories of your prom or whatever, So my father got it, and they didn't know what to do. They hacked his face up like crazy. I remember that, trying to get to it and whatever. They couldn't. He died of a pituitary tumor. And I have told the story before. A couple of years later, I'm going out with this woman, and I said, we're having a nice time and everything. And she says, I almost died a few years ago. I said, well, really? Why? How? She said, I had a pituitary tumor. I said, oh, my God, my father died of a pituitary tumor. She said, well, they can operate on it now. And what they do is they go up through the roof of your mouth to get to it. And it's a very simple operation. And nobody dies of pituitary tumors anymore. But my father did. And if it had just been a couple of years later, he'd be alive. He wouldn't be alive today, but he would have lived a lot longer.
How old was he when he died?
59.
That's too young.
So I figure I'm really living on borrowed time. Of course, my mother lived to be 100.
Mother lived to be 100, right?
So, mean average there, I don't know.
Well, let's see, it'd be one.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, so it's things like that where we've made incredible advances. Things that were certain death sentence in the old days now is like, easy peasy. We take care of it, And then there are other things that we just never have managed to solve. I mean, everybody goes, well, we've never cured cancer. Well, which cancer? There's so many forms of cancer and things that fall into the cancer category that you can't just have one thing that cures all cancers. So you have to go cancer by cancer.
Yeah, and I've noticed since I was a kid, every year you'll hear in the news some university come up with something. We think we've got the cure for all cancers, and then you never hear about it again.
Yeah. But there are certain things that help solve cancer. I mean, like I had radiation. That's the main way they take care of prostate cancer is radiation.
Yeah, what they've done is they've extended people's lives with cancer, but a lot of cancers still wind up killing you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there are certain cancers you get them, like what do you call it? Pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, that'll kill you pretty quickly.
They tell you, go home, get your affairs in order. We can't operate on it. Now, my ex-wife, Ronnie, had pancreatic cancer, and they operated on her. They did a thing called the Whipple procedure. And it's only done on about 10% of people who have pancreatic cancer, but if you qualify for it, they'll do it. But I remember with her, the rehabilitation from it took forever. I mean, they gutted her like a cart.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. Now, one day they will come out with the trouble is with pancreatic cancer. Is this a fun discussion, folks? Are you enjoying this? The terrible thing about pancreatic cancer is that by the time you find it and see it that it's happening, it's too late.
Yeah, you don't show symptoms until too late.
Until it's too late. And they're starting to come out with some kind of tests that are precognitive and can do it, figure it out before you get it, and then they can do something about it, so whatever. So, so your diseases so far are a cataract and a hernia. That's about it. Huh?
And a hernia.
Yeah. So you've really basically got nothing going for you.
Nothing.
Well, what happens is it's things that happen when your body starts falling apart, And you're a runner. You run 3 times a week, right?
3, 4, yeah, every other
3,
day.
4. Been doing it for how many years?
Since '88.
Yeah. And the question is that going to prevent you getting something that's deadly? No. I like what Bobby Slayton once said. He said they say if you run every day, you will live to be maybe the average age will be 10 years more. He said, but you know what you're going to do with those 10 years? You'll be running. And it's true, Why
I think I told you liked that quote to Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon, and said he didn't exercise because he thought we all had a finite number of heartbeats. So.
Well, I my joke was I don't work out because I don't want my body to wear out. The more you exercise, the more you like.
I want to keep it low mileage.
My wife ran and she slam dunked. I don't know what she did. She did everything you could do she was very athletic. She has everything wrong with her you can possibly have, at least skeletally.
Really?
Oh yeah, a bad back, a bad this, a bad that, And I'm going, oh gee, all those years of running and everything, that was really good for you, wasn't it? But she, when it comes to being infirmed, I guess she's more infirm than I am. I just complain, But people. Well, I always watched the obituaries. Remember, I used to read the obituaries on the show.
That was my favorite part of the show.
Yeah. I used to read the obituaries, and the reason I did is it was more curiosity on my part as to what age people were dying at. Okay, now I was pretty young when I started doing that, but I'd come across somebody who died at 40, and I go, oh God, my days are numbered.
Yeah, I still go through the paper and read obituaries, and you can now I'm old, but even when you're young, you can always find someone that died younger than you.
Well, Carl Reiner, before he died, said that every morning he read the obituaries, and if his name wasn't there, he made himself coffee.
Did he make 100?
He's about 95, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on a second. I'll ask the expert. Echo, how old was Carl Reiner when he died?
Carl Reiner died at 98 years old on June 29, 2020 in Beverly Hills, California.
Okay. All right. There we
That was a
go.
quick answer.
Yeah, 98 years. Well,
Norman Lear's over 100.
he just hit 100. Just hit 100. Yeah. Yeah.
Wealthy man.
Wealthy man, but more than that, he had a successful career. But anyway, listen, we've run out of time here.
Yes, we have. Well, just let's
So I'm just
airtime. Let's hope.
I'm just going to dump you, and we'll talk next week. How about
You
that,
got it.
ladies and gentlemen? Larry Bubbles Brown.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 8th year of talk like you've never heard it before.
That's right. And there's Larry, and we love having Larry. Don't we like having Larry on? Yes, we do. We love having Larry on. I just have him on every week because I'm too lazy to do a half hour by myself anymore. I used to be able, if you told me nobody was going to call and I had to ad lib for 4 hours, I could do it. And I can't do that anymore. It's not in my DNA any longer. I've been feeling a little bit better since I stopped taking those pills. I get a little woozy, but it seems to be. I think right now what I'm facing is coming down off the pills because they are, I understand, quite addictive. Even though I wasn't taking a large amount of them, it was so I'm trying not to take them. I love them; they're fine, but I just get woozy. I get loopy and all of that, and that's not good. Well, anyway, it's time to talk to our people here as they come on our program, and we form what's called a citizen panel. And let me see here. Who have we got? Let me see. Wait a minute. Hold on. We've got, first of all, Jeff, put your face in the middle of the picture, okay?
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You always got to do that. And let me see here. I say hello. You're in bed tonight, Kevin.
Uh-oh. Yeah. You hear me?
I mean, there isn't a reason why you're in bed, particularly outside of rest, maybe?
No, I'm in a hotel in Arizona.
Oh, I see.
In Liberal, Arizona.
Oh, okay. What are you doing in Arizona?
I'm here to check on my truck and for a car show tomorrow.
Now, is that truck the one that you won?
No, the car is the one that I won. The truck is the one I'm rebuilding.
Oh, I see. And so why'd you have to go to Arizona to rebuild the truck?
The truck is being rebuilt here, and the car is the one that was built here. And I'm here for the youth programs having a car show tomorrow. So I told them I'd bring out the car that they first built for the next car that they're going.
Yeah. So you're just doing
supporting the youth program.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. And he's sucking on a soda. Hello, Josh. How are you?
It's water.
How are
Good.
you?
How you doing?
Good to see you. Good to see you. And Charlie Wallace.
Hey.
I found this humorous. Oh boy. You're fine. And,
Charlie's got a bone to pick.
Oh.
Oh. That's worse than the pun he's got on his chest. And of course, Alan is here as usual. And if you, the rest of you want to call, you can call too. That would be nice. So anyway.
Okay.
So anyway, I was thinking about this. Kind of like Herschel Walker. All right.
Yes.
How does he ever get to even run for something? I mean, I can't believe that people are as stupid or maybe stupider than he is. I mean, why would anybody vote for that sack of crap? It just boggles my mind. And the fact that I live in a country where anyone would even vote for Herschel Walker frightens me.
Nobody has really voted for him yet, right? Have they?
No, not yet, but
The primary. He won the primary.
Well, he won the primary,
Right.
but that was with a bunch of Republicans. We know they're stupid. But you know what? You know what gets me? is the fact that you get all these Republicans out there, and they're defending Herschel Walker, a guy who speaks that he's for family values, and yet he never saw any one of his 4 kids. In fact, when that kid did that video putting him down, he probably had to look at it and go, I don't know if I've ever seen him before. Of course not. You didn't see any of your kids.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, and then Republicans say that they're moral people, they're for family values. What are family values? You get 4 women pregnant by you, you pay one to get an abortion, and then when she gets pregnant again, you want to pay her again to go get an abortion. But she decided to have a kid, so now she's got a kid, but he doesn't know if it's for real. Well, of course not. He's never seen the kid. You know, I mean, if let's say for a moment you're for family values, which I think is a bunch of crap, okay? But because what are family? If this is family values, then you know, I'm going to go screw my brains out. You know, I mean, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. It just drives me nuts when I see this happen. And then all these Republicans coming to their defense. And I saw this one clip of this woman. I can't remember her name now, but she's a female talk show host, and she referred to the woman that he paid to get the abortion a skank.
Dana Loesch, wasn't it?
Dana Loesch. That's exactly who it was. Yeah. Did you see that clip?
I saw the clip, yeah.
Yeah. She called him, called her a skank.
But Herschel's not a skank.
No, he's not a skank at all. He's a good. Well, he says, well, you know, I used to be not a nice guy, but I found God. Yeah. How come these people find God the minute they're running for office? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here comes Tony. It says, grab them by the prostate. Hello, Tony.
You know, can I say one thing, Alex? I don't mean to jump right in.
No, you can't say one thing. I'm sorry.
I watched that beginning of that documentary that you talked to me about just now. I am so fucking disgusted already with Roosevelt. Did you see what he was trying to do? Stop them from having kids, the stupid people? Oh, I had to turn that fucking thing off already.
What about Roosevelt?
Roosevelt.
I don't remember anything about Roosevelt.
It sounded like.
Which Roosevelt?
Franklin.
He was against stupid people, feeble-minded people, of having offspring.
I never
Talking
heard
about
that.
Franklin or Teddy?
I forgot who it was. Alex, I got to watch
that's you're not very accurate there if you don't know whether it was Teddy or whether it was Franklin.
It's one of those assholes.
What do you mean it's one of those assholes that was...
Alex, you're right. It's good so far. But I was getting emotional.
Well, I never turned you on to a documentary about Roosevelt.
Yeah, because it was just the whole propaganda of what they were doing here.
Was he the Republican or the Democrat?
This fucking country stinks, really.
Wait a minute, hold on.
That's what made you upset.
Tony, to begin with, you don't know what you're talking about because you admit you don't know what you're talking about.
But no, in the beginning of the
Which
episode,
Roosevelt, to begin with?
Oh, I gotta look now again.
Was it Bob Roosevelt?
I'm telling you, I was actually I'm totally disgusted.
Or was it Sam Roosevelt?
Whoever it is, I forgot. He's just an asshole from the word go out.
It was probably Bobby. That sounds like Bobby Roosevelt.
Holy shit! What a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, Bobby Roosevelt was a piece of shit. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. That sounds more like Teddy, to be honest with you.
I think it's Teddy.
Yeah, I think so.
Fucking jerk.
That was earlier in the century too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know scientifically a lot about mental health and so on and so forth. And there may have been a belief that it was actually passed on genetically.
He
but
looked like a dick.
What do you mean, dick?
I'm telling you, this country was built upon assholes.
Do you like our national parks, Tony?
Oh yeah, I created the parks. They were thinking about that. I can't even get into it.
What do you mean? He created the national park system.
And he was a fucking pro-Nazi guy.
What do you mean he was a pro-Nazi? There were no Nazis then.
There weren't any Nazis back in.
I'm telling you this.
There were no.
Right. I gotta watch Tony. I was getting all along out of walking away.
Tony, before you start sounding like an absolute moron, I kind of hedge your bets here, okay?
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
You have to watch the rest of it. It's like 160.
there were no Nazis back then. Yeah. The Nazi Party was invented by Ben Hitler. Anyway, yes, Alan.
Tony, I know that probably in Queens they spell prostate with an R and
Oh, did I spell it wrong? I forgot.
spelled wrong. Yeah,
Yeah, you got.
I'll leave it up there anyway.
You've got a prostrate problem. You have a trouble. Oh, you have a problem. You're always lying down. I see. That's your prostrate.
So
problem.
Phil gave you cancer. I can see that.
That's right. Yeah, because he always claims that he's giving everybody cancer. He's like the
Yeah.
what's that, Typhoid Mary? Was that what
I
that
never had
was?
prostate cancer until he got it.
Yeah.
He gave it to you, Alex.
But it was only because I hold him in such great respect. I try to be
Yeah.
just like him. So,
I actually find him entertaining. I know it's crazy when these guys go on. I laugh.
yeah.
I
Okay.
think it's funny. Really.
Yeah. So anyway, how you doing tonight, Josh?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
Yeah. You sound like you're doing badly. You never come on and go, life sucks.
Well,
It does on certain levels.
but
Yeah. Yeah. Right. No, but how do we really live in that moronic a country where people find Herschel Walker a good idea?
well, I don't know about the country, but certain parts of it anyway.
Now, I'll tell you, I'm going to tell you something right now. Now, obviously, what do you call it? iTunes, or not iTunes, YouTube is not doing their job. Because I went on to YouTube tonight, and the first story was shocking. Michael J. Fox dies.
Did he?
What?
No, I looked it up. There's nothing that he died, and yet they let this
That
thing
ain't
go
the first
on.
time that's happened.
Yeah, but I mean, they should immediately catch it. They'll catch it if I play a song they don't like.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
they go absolutely ballistic about something like that. So I don't get it. All right.
That's true.
Yeah. But anyway.
Depends if it makes them money or not, I guess.
Yeah. But
Leaving that out there probably gets clicks or whatever.
well,
and,
yeah, but I mean, it
yeah.
shouldn't get clicks. It
No,
should be
right.
taken off. It's because
fake news.
I thought he was
Yeah.
dead tonight. And then I went online and I looked for Michael J. Fox dead, and I didn't find anything. Wikipedia, you go to Wikipedia, and all you have to do is look at born, died, okay? And if they're not dead, they don't have died. But I'll tell you
blank,
this
yeah.
about Wikipedia. 5 seconds after somebody dies, they put in died.
Got it up, yeah.
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 So I mean, I looked at Wikipedia and it said he was still alive. It's going to be a big shock to the Michael J. Fox family.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Wonder who put that on there, YouTube. A video?
yeah, it's like the first video I came upon this evening,
I like.
and I went what? And I started watching it, and they weren't saying he was dead. They were just telling stories about him. Excuse me, I have to for a second. I got to close the door over here because if I don't, the old lady will get all pissy with me. So you're making noise. You're waking me up. So there we go. So anyway, anybody have anything they want to talk about tonight? Okay, well, it's nice seeing you all, and we'll talk to you next week.
Did we talk about Biden pardoning all the people for the marijuana possession?
I think we talked about that last night, but it's worth
Last
talking
night.
about. It's worth talking about again. The only thing is that who was one of the biggest people against the legalization of marijuana?
Against
Yeah, against the legalization for years.
Massachusetts, probably.
No,
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I we could say, oh well, he's hypocritical, but that's not the case necessarily. People do
Flip-flopper.
change. People changed their minds. They have their minds changed, and I just think that this has been a terrible thing for years. This illegalization of this drug, and that you realize that it is more illegal marijuana right now federally than fentanyl?
Probably.
And fentanyl kills people.
Mm-hmm.
Marijuana
No,
doesn't.
they're both Schedule 1 drugs
Yeah, but
in the federal.
What does
criminal
fentanyl do? What does that do for you?
what?
What
Oh,
does
you want
fentanyl
to try
do?
it? You got to try it.
No, ever since I got that value,
Try,
it's like,
see if you can
John
score
Denver
some
sounds
pills.
good,
Take
right?
a couple of them, Tony.
I only took 2 milligrams of Valium when I was fucking relaxed.
Anyway, it's not a Schedule 1 drug, that one.
Just take one first.
Yeah,
See
they're
if you
both-
like it.
But marijuana is
both
a Schedule
Schedule
1 drug, like heroin is a Schedule 1 drug. I mean, we haven't been dealing with drugs properly in this country for years. You know, I mean, my feeling is we should legalize every drug and let it be medicinally dispensed. Then you wouldn't have all these people dying. I mean, heroin does not kill people because it's dangerous, particularly. And please, people, listen to what I'm saying before you decide to go out and try heroin. But it's a highly addictive substance, but you won't get addicted the first time you try it. It'll take you about 6 weeks of abuse to get addicted to it, all right? But it is not the drug, as horrible a drug, say, as fentanyl, because heroin only kills you because the stuff on the street is like made in a vat somewhere, and you don't know what the dosage is, and so on. If you had the government dispensing it and you knew the amount of heroin that was in a vial or whatever, people wouldn't be dying.
Pollution.
They're only dying because it's illegal.
Same with fentanyl.
Well, fentanyl, yeah, but fentanyl in and of itself, you can overdose on fentanyl, can't you? If you take too
Well,
many?
you can with heroin too. Fentanyl is just 10 times more strong.
Yeah. Well, all I'm saying is most of the fentanyl you're going to get. The trouble with the fentanyl is they're lacing.
It's synthetic. It's synthetic.
Well, they're also going out and lacing things like cocaine with the fentanyl, and then people are buying cocaine, doing the
heroin.
No,
and heroin.
They're just over. They're over. How do I say it? Overdosing it, basically.
Well,
That's right.
They're putting too much of it in.
Well,
There.
no, but there's no reason to put fentanyl in cocaine, okay?
Correct.
Except to maybe lessen the strength of the cocaine and try and up the fentanyl.
They could take a pill full of flour and put too much fentanyl.
All
on
I'm
it,
saying
too.
is the reason these drugs kill people is because they've been illegal. And
because somebody doesn't know how to mix it right.
Yeah, there's no government oversight or manufacture
Correct.
of this stuff.
So fentanyl is so toxic that if you got the powder on your hand, it would soak through your skin and could kill you.
Pure fentanyl. Pure fentanyl.
Well,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Used in a medical.
Wait a minute. You're saying no, Charlie?
Yeah, I heard that was just police propaganda.
No.
No, it's
Well, what do you mean no? Where are you getting your information? Where are you getting your information from?
Who you talking to me?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, medical. I mean,
Medical, but where? Where?
Dr. Phil.
I mean, he just said that it was the police.
Well, Kevin agreed with me. There's 2 against 1.
Yeah, but
Yep.
If it's pure fentanyl, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll agree with Charlie. Now it's 2 against 2. How's that? Yeah.
we need to get a doctor to call the show.
No, but all I'm saying is that by making these drugs illegal, we've made them dangerous. We've made them more dangerous than they are. You know.
Sure, but that's with anything. If you've got heroin and you're not mixing it correctly, you're making it dangerous.
Well, the trouble is that most heroin has other stuff mixed into it. That's
Correct,
the
just
problem.
like cocaine and everything else.
Yeah.
You know, cocaine used to be mixed with baby laxative, and you shit like a shark,
Well,
but you get high.
Well, I used to do that with it too, so it'd be a little weaker, and so I wouldn't use as much. Anyway.
Sure.
Yeah, well, that's what everybody did. I mean, they mixed it with whatever.
Yeah, but that is not
Aspirin,
but
whatever.
But baby laxative, mannitol, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Would not kill you. You know.
Right.
But
there was other people that would do whatever was laying around. They would mix it with them.
Yeah. Well, what happens is that if the government legalized it, and then all these drugs on the street had to be approved by the government for strength and purity and so on and so forth, we would not have the deaths that we've had because of these drugs.
Yeah, most likely not.
Yeah. And if the government had been a little more on the spot with this whole thing, and on the job with the fentanyl, OxyContin rather, a lot of people wouldn't have died from it. But they let this company, what was the name of it? Purdue.
Several of them.
Well, Purdue was the main bad one, the bad person in that, bad actor in that situation.
Not in fentanyl, in narcotics.
What?
Like
what?
Like morphine and oxycodone and stuff.
Well, wait a minute. What are you talking about, Alan? I'm talking about.
Purdue didn't put out fentanyl. They put out.
No, I didn't say they put out fentanyl. I said they put out oxycodone. You're not listening.
No, I'm not. I'm researching to find out if you have fentanyl in your hand. So is Charlie's got his hand up.
Yeah, I Googled, can you be killed by skin contact with fentanyl? And it says no.
And where are you going for that?
Biomed Central.
Oh.
It says no, due to its extremely poor penetration of the skin barrier, symptoms of intoxication from skin exposure are unlikely.
So
that is bullshit put out by the police.
Let's try.
Yeah,
let's try
I used to hear that. You're right.
Let's try a different site, Charlie. Here, I'm going by Mayo Clinic, and it says fentanyl patches transdermal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Fentanyl patches may cause serious or life-threatening problems, and it goes into the different.
But it said fentanyl patches. And
But
patches. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
It's in your hand, or it's on a patch.
No,
Either way,
it could be that the stuff in the patch is made to be able to penetrate the skin with the substance, whereas just touching it is not going to have the same effect.
Okay,
doctor.
This is a stupid question. Can I ask one question?
It depends on what form it's in.
Yeah, listen to Kevin. You know.
No, don't listen to me.
Science magazine says.
No, we all have to listen to. What? Wait, say Charlie. What?
Since July 15, 2022, Science magazine says fainting from fentanyl exposure. Nope, does not happen.
And that's where again?
This is according to science, www.science.org.
Okay. Yes, Tony.
Here's a stupid question. When they were saying, would it maybe change if you have like a cut on your skin where it can directly get in?
And I can see that. Yeah, your skin's broken.
Yeah, that might be more effective. If your skin's broken, then maybe it may get.
Yeah, but I mean, we're not talking about that in general.
Oh, you're just talking skin.
He's just saying if you touch it, it's gonna kill you.
You used to see the busts where, you know, the cops would go in there and they'd touch it, and all of a sudden they'd go, "Oh, I'm going to the hospital." But now you don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
and usually
because they're wearing gloves.
Well, yeah, yes and no.
Yeah.
Well, Alan, you were a cop. Did you ever get exposed to any of that?
No, fentanyl hadn't been developed then.
Oh.
Wasn't around in the 20s.
That's right. Thank you, Kevin.
Gee, I hate to think what you say about me, Kevin, when I'm not around.
I had to get you one, Alan.
It's okay, no problem, pal.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, the way we've treated drugs in this country has been horrible. To begin with, the way we've treated drugs in this country is we've made drugs illegal to go after blacks and political leftists. The Nixon administration, John Ehrlichman said that Nixon had told him, we got to go after marijuana because that way we can get blacks and we can get left-wingers off the street, because the leftists are the ones that are smoking pot, and black people, and the two of them, if we go out and start busting them, they're not a problem. And so they were using these drug laws over the years to go after especially blacks, and in other cases, people of artistic bent, let's say, who might just say, I'm going to smoke some pot. That looks like a good idea, you know? But if you were...
Well, police used to say that marijuana would make you psychotic.
Yeah.
It's roots in hell.
Well, I mean, there was this film that I helped distribute with the people at Normal called Reefer Madness,
Oh, yeah.
in which they gave you an idea of what would happen if you smoked marijuana. And that was started, and that was kind of forced into being by Harry J. Anslinger, this guy who was the first head of the Narcotics Enforcement Organization. And he got that job after he managed to prove, if you look at the history of marijuana and you go and check out the amount of newspaper articles about marijuana and how people jumped out of buildings from using marijuana, and this from marijuana and that from marijuana, it was only over about a 2-year period when Harry J. Anslinger started putting these articles and forcing these articles into newspapers. And so all of a sudden the whole country was, marijuana conscious. Before that, they didn't even care. Marijuana's been around forever, okay? It's a naturally occurring plant in nature. But they used it to scare people. And they started putting all these articles in the magazines and newspapers, and then they got the government to make it illegal. And who got the job to head it up? The guy who was like forcing this whole thing, this whole issue. And he remained as the head of the organization, I think, well into the 50s, when the United Nations made marijuana legal in every country in the world. And he was the head of that. He was the head of getting that out there. And it wasn't that he hated marijuana or that he thought it was dangerous. He just wanted a job. That's what a lowlife Harry J. Anslinger was. So anyway, that's the history of drugs in this country. So don't tell me that anything you can read online is either true or false about fentanyl, because we don't know. We don't know whether it's just false information being fed to the public to go after a drug. No, make fentanyl legal. Make it available to people who want it in doses that will not kill them, okay, and keep drugs safe. And the way to keep drugs safe and to keep the public safe is to keep these drugs legal, or let's say decriminalized. I think that's probably a better way of putting it, But let's not go around busting, black people because they use a particular drug, I live in Harlem. Heroin was a big thing up here in the 30s and 40s. So.
Did you talk to people when it was this big deal? Were you on the streets in the 30s and 40s?
Was that to try and make up for the joke that Kevin told
about? No. Kevin's joke was good.
Yeah.
Kevin's joke was good. I'm just trying to verify where you got your information.
Well, when I was hanging out at the Cotton Club.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was a little later, though.
No, it wasn't. Cotton Club was, 20s, 30s? No.
But it was
Huh?
30s or 40s, wasn't it?
30s, 40s.
That was the
might have been the
30s.
Might have been the 20s.
No, 40s. 40s. After the 40s.
Kevin and I agree again.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Echo.
Because we're doing a show.
When
we were going to use the Cotton Club, and it wasn't in 46.
I'm not sure.
Wait a minute.
So I think it was around after 46.
Hold on a second. Echo, when did the Cotton Club open?
Cotton Club on West 125th Street in New York is open from earlier today at 6:30 p.m.
No. I don't want to know the present one that's sitting over there. Just has the name.
I'm pretty sure it was after 46.
The Cotton Club? Oh, no, the Cotton Club goes back to the 30s and maybe even 20s. Hold on a second. Let me look it up here. I'll look it up.
Because I thought we were going to use the Cotton Club in our show, but we couldn't because it didn't relate to 46.
Wait a minute. Cotton
I could be wrong.
Club. Okay, Cotton Club. And let's see here.
Because we ended up using another club.
Okay. What was the Harlem? It says, Harlem's premier nightclub in the 20s and 30s.
There you go.
They know.
Okay, maybe it was before then. That's why we didn't use it. That's probably why.
Club featured African-American entertainers of the era, including Count Basie, Ella Fitzgerald, Fats Waller, Louis Armstrong, Dizzy Gillespie, Nat Cole, Billie Holiday, Ethel Waters, and they don't even mention Duke Ellington. I mean, Duke Ellington was the house
or
band.
Alex Bennett.
You're really trying, you know, you really are. And I'm sorry, but the joke on you was very good. It had high quality. It had good, it had a lot of laughability.
What Kevin said I liked. It was funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so what are you reading there, Josh?
Not a whole lot. I just going over some stuff on my phone I needed to get done.
Yeah.
Just messaging somebody some info they needed.
Oh, really? From work?
Yeah. That's about it.
Seems like you're always on call.
I have a lot I have to do for them.
Uh-huh.
Some of our, I help some of our other sites now too. So a couple of them aren't performing very well, and the area management came from our particular site, and they trust what I do. So I might have to start traveling a little bit here and there to help some other sites too. I'm gonna go to Illinois in a couple of weeks.
Well, how many? Wait a minute. How many different places do you have that make paint?
Our company?
Mm-hmm.
All over the country, right?
Yeah. Yeah. In the U.S., between real small customs type sites way up to big plants, I mean, God, I don't know. I mean, dozens and dozens.
Mm-hmm.
Sites that are like ours, so really large sites, there's probably 15 to 20.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you probably got another. Gosh.
Oh, is there a reason why?
40
Is there a reason why there are a lot of them? Why don't they just have one big one where they do all of it?
Because it would have to be like tremendously
huge.
I don't think one site could ever do it.
Or is it also is it also because it's cheaper to do it that way and ship within the area rather than to have one central place and have to ship to the whole country?
Not too much.
You don't want to do a lot of chemicals in one place.
Yeah, not too much. It's mostly just because the business is so diverse and has so many different business units, such as industrial, wood, general industrial, what they call tag, which is the stores. They have the Lowe's business unit only. They just have so many different business units that some of the sites are multifunctional like us and can do almost anything, and some of them are dedicated to only things like house paint, etc.
In case people don't know, he works for a company that manufactures paint.
Right. And so it just depends. I mean, there are certain sites that only focus on certain business units, like floor coverings. So the site's not that big. There might only be 50 or 60 people working there in total, and then you got other sites that are 5 times that size, like ours or whatever.
Right. So, you have big vats of paint and stuff like that?
Yeah, we have everything, my site's it's a diverse site. It does a lot of industrial.
Let me ask you a question, okay? Because, all right, let me ask questions about paint here, okay? Do they make one big vat of paint that has no color at all, and then they start pouring color into this basic mixture, or do they make a color of paint with the wholly complete in and of itself?
We do it all the way across the board. So it depends. Our site makes everything from what we would call clears, which is clear paint, which is like a clear coat, all the way up to white or gray primers. And then, but we also make finished product paint for manufacturers. So our site makes a lot of John Deere green, for example, which goes to John Deere in Illinois and gets put on a tractor. Make yellow paint for Caterpillar, which gets shipped all over the world and put on Caterpillar paints, equipment, tractors. And
are you the biggest? Can I ask you which paint company it is?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I work for SW, for Sherwin-Williams. So.
Sherwin-Williams. Is it the biggest paint company, or is there one that's bigger than Sherwin-Williams?
It pretty much is, but because of some of the other stuff that they do, PPG is, I think, maybe a little larger in overall size, but they have some other parts of their business model too. You know, like they do still manufacture glass, for example. You know, which we do not. So it probably is just about the largest in the U.S.
Because when I was a kid, I only knew of two paint companies. One was Dutch Boy, which I liked because there was a cute little Dutch boy. Okay, and I was a little boy, so there was a Dutch boy, and that made me that. And then the other one was Sherwin-Williams because I love the logo, in which it was like paint being dropped on the world, and it said, "What we cover the world" or something. That was a Sherwin-Williams.
Yeah, cover the earth.
Cover the earth. Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Dutch Boy doesn't. Well, Dutch Boy still exists, but Dutch Boy is Sherwin-Williams.
Isn't it amazing? I know this much about paint. Anyway, yes, Alan. You have a paint question. We only have 25 people watching us right now. Nobody's watching tonight. Nobody watches the show anymore, so we may as well talk about paint. Go ahead.
Doesn't PPG only do industrial paint? They don't do house paint like Sherwin-Williams.
No, I think they still do. They don't have nearly the retail presence that we do, but
they do a lot of automotive paint.
Automotive.
Yeah. Which, but so do we. I mean, we have a site in Kentucky that's dedicated to automotive. So we make automotive, but ours not very much.
My question is, what is your biggest biggest market for your paint? Is it private, like me, or is it industrial?
I think ours is probably industrial. I don't know if they make more from like you said, what they would call the tag, which is retail business model, or from industrial. I don't know if it's like 50-50, 60-40 or whatever. The industrial is very, very successful. Sherwin-Williams also makes powder coatings too. So
what? Powder coatings?
Powder coatings, yeah, which is like a powdered paint that goes on a lot of metals. To give them a nice hard, finish that isn't really supposed to chip, and things like that. Protects the metal for life from from like rust and things like that.
Yeah.
And I would say the industrial is pretty large. Like our plant makes a lot of industrial. I shouldn't say almost everything, but a lot of what we make does not go to a store. It goes to another manufacturer who then applies it to the product that you buy.
Okay.
I mean, somebody took this phone case and made it and then painted it black, right? Yeah. We make paint for people like that take these types of
But I thought that when you had
paint this.
Well, I thought when you had a paint thing like that, a color on a case, for instance, that it was simply infused into the plastic, that it was not painted onto the plastic.
Some may be, but some are not. I mean, I know that we make a lot of paint for people who make like ATM facades, and plating covers, whatever you want to call them, stuff like that. And we make a lot of like in what they would call like industrial wood. So people, to build the banister that goes up your steps, right? They make it out of wood and everything, and then they stain it a certain color, paint it a certain color, then they clear coat it, right? So we sell them the paint and then the clear coat, and it goes into their spray machines on their lines or whatever, and then they, do whatever. But yeah, we make a lot of industrial at our site. I mean, I'm not really giving away any like trade secrets or anything that would get me in trouble there. I mean, our site is a pretty large industrial site. I mean, any tour that would come through, even outside the company people, that's, information they could get. So, I mean, it's a pretty large industrial site. There are a couple more that are very similar to us, and those are some of the ones that I might start traveling to here and there to help out. But
the company I worked for,
pretty big business model.
was a huge worldwide company, and we only used Sherwin-Williams coatings on all our plants. And the plants were huge, and there are air plants that had million gallon.
Yeah, I mean, they have large contracts. I mean,
piping and everything all over the place, and they only use Sherwin-Williams coatings.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and like I said, I even something like this, I'm not giving away any secrets. I mean, because something like this would be public record, but we make a lot of paint for the military.
Yep.
Well,
I mean, we make a lot of
congratulations
paint for Humvees, tanks, helicopters, all that kind of stuff.
Congratulations, we're down to 24 people.
Well, I got a subject.
Oh, wait a minute, I got a subject for you. I got a subject for you. They came out with a list today, and I don't know how they come up with these lists and how they figure them out.
Oh, I got a list too, and you're done.
It might be the same list.
Could be.
These are the cities that swear the most.
That's the one.
Is it really? We were thinking alike?
Guess who's on top?
Well, no.
Nope.
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 You'll never guess it. And I wouldn't think
it's
so.
Amazing. Yeah, go ahead.
Columbus, Ohio.
Not Chicago either.
Yeah.
Columbus, Ohio.
I live here, so.
Supposedly, the average person in Columbus swears or uses a curse word 36 times a day.
A day.
The average person.
Way above that.
So, would you just say a curse word right now, Josh? Just say one.
I mean, there's no fucking way I don't talk
use
more than that.
No,
I mean,
but did you just say fucking?
That's fucking bullshit. Isn't it?
No,
fucking,
okay, all right. Now we're up to
say more than that.
Okay.
Fucking Gabnet or whatever.
We're up to 38 now.
That's probably true.
Number 2, Las Vegas.
Oh, you'll lose the money.
Because you give the man the slot machine.
Yeah. You put money in the slot machine, it doesn't pay out. You go shit. Yeah, right.
And then
Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, there's your favorite state, Alex, Florida.
But number 5 was.
Well, Oklahoma City is number 4. Also number 4 is Dallas, Texas.
Oh,
okay. Also number 4 is Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Philly's rough defense.
Because they say fuck Dr. Oz a lot there.
Yeah.
Also number 4, Indianapolis, Indiana. Okay. Number 5, San Francisco, California.
They beat him what?
24 times a day.
Phil probably got half of that right there. He put him over the top.
Yeah. Fort Worth, Texas is number 5. Tied for 5th is Louisville, Kentucky. 6th is Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
A lot of fuck Joe Biden's going right out there.
Number 7 is Los Angeles, California, and number 7 is Austin, Texas.
Oh, wow.
The least swears a day: Phoenix, Arizona, followed by Portland, Oregon, Boston, Massachusetts, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh, that's it. Patrick.
San Jose, California.
You're laid back.
That blew me away.
Yeah. And now, you're not going to believe this. Least swears. Okay, on the list of least swears. New York City.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Average New Yorker swears 17 times a day.
Except Tony's block.
Yeah.
Yeah, my block.
Or his fucking block. Yeah, right.
My block goes right down the shit.
Detroit, Michigan, followed by Seattle, followed by Houston, Texas.
Wow.
Okay. That's right down near you there, Charlie. Let me see here. Memphis, Tennessee, San Diego, California, Charlotte, North Carolina, San Antonio, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, and Denver, Colorado. Those are the most swearing cities in the United States. The least.
I would love to know how they did this survey.
How do you come up with that? Who has the time to do that?
Right?
What do you call people up on the phone and try to like bait them into cursing?
No, but I just know. I bet they're coming out with numbers here.
Yeah.
You know.
Or if they just make phony phone calls and see how many times people cuss them out.
I don't know. I don't know how you would even come up with this, or why you would even wake up. And what time of day do you wake up and say, you know what I think it'd be fun to find out?
How many fucking people were?
You know, give the job to Harry J. Anslinger. He always likes to get a good job. Yeah. But anyway, no, I mean, it's amazing. It's just amazing.
The stats probably came from Herschel Walker's campaign.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I think is even more amazing is that Kevin and I came up with exactly the same list at the same time.
We were thinking, I kept meaning to bring it up, and I think we were channeling each other.
Yeah, yeah. But the report found typical American swears 21 times a day, but half the respondents will use substitution for swear words such as fudge, heck, and holy cow. How many here substitute fudge for a word? No?
Frickin'.
Huh?
Frickin'.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, when somebody's gonna say son of a bitch, I usually say son of a biscuit eater.
Dad blast the gosh darn blankety heck.
What was that?
Dad blast the gosh darn blankety heck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I never heard of that one before.
Yeah, neither have I.
Yeah.
It's an Austin thing.
Let me see if our numbers got any better during that. No, it went up back to 25. So we're really cool. The other night we were up to almost 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tonight it's like, yeah. Is there something going on I don't know about out there?
Bill's not on the show.
Baseball playoffs, I guess.
Yeah, playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh, the playoffs. That's right.
I was talking to Jack Bishop today because he called me, and he brought up the radio station in San Francisco that's being changed after 31 years. You know, I think they're getting rid of the call letters, KGO in San Francisco. And then he starts to talk about radio. And the last thing I like to talk about is radio. I just find it a boring subject, okay? But he was mentioning it, and he said, well, he says, you know, it's just that they don't get back to basics and blah, 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 blah. And I just said, you know why these stations are doing these sort of things? It's they're playing a defensive game now. The idea is, let's not be the ones that lose all the money on this radio station. You know, what happened was a few years ago, this was, God, I'm trying to remember when the deregulation happened, but they deregulated radio enough so that where before you could only own like 5 radio stations, 5 AM, 5 FM, and 5 TV, and that was it. All of a sudden they took that cap off of there, and people like Clear Channel, which later became iHeartRadio, bought up 1,200 radio stations.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
When they took that off, because it was a big thing about it.
You know, in the old days, if you were a radio a guy who wanted to buy a radio station, you had to prove to the FCC you had the financial wherewithal to own one and to keep it going for a year without it making money. All right. But now that didn't even count, and so people were just, you know, buying these things left and right, and they weren't even paying cash for it. It was horrible. It was just horrible, and that's what happened to the business. And people, huh? Deregulation.
It was like deregulation.
By the way, you know who made that possible? Clinton.
Who did that?
Clinton.
That's right, Bill.
Yeah, I remember when it happened.
He didn't. It wasn't that he wanted to deregulate radio. It was that he wanted to do something, and I can't remember what it was exactly, to pass a law to do something else. But by you know, sometimes when you pass a law, this thing like this, like deregulation, is affected, and it just turned the business into you know, what can we do to make money? What can we do to make money? And it was pretty terrible, you know. So, who knows? And so consequently, something like this happens, and you know, Jack says to me, "Oh yeah, you know, they just didn't try hard enough." Blah blah blah. And I'm going, "Hey, radio doesn't exist anymore. You know, it's an old deal now, and it's old media."
Yeah, and that's everybody started going automated too.
Well, they did that, but they didn't give people a reason to listen. You know,
right?
And when you can go to the internet and listen to what you want to listen to, you know. Yes, Tony.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? You're saying it's an old deal. I actually, hooked up my old stereo in the process of it, and I actually today got an old AM antenna. I got through the mail, and I actually been buying new records. So I'm actually enjoying going back. I still pick up regular stuff. I want to, you can still get local stations. Like Alex, last week I was listening to ABC. Your friend was on the guy you interviewed for an hour. What's his name? I forgot his name again. He was on like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you mean the former governor?
Yes, the former governor was on for like a half hour, 45 minutes at WABC radio at night.
Yeah, I think he does a show.
Yeah, he was good. I mean, I still listen to regular radio.
You're the last person.
I know. I enjoy it.
I mean, people have, I don't think it's been replaced by anything better. Mind you, I think that, and maybe call me old-fashioned, but there was a value to local radio. When it was local, the problem was with all this deregulation, local radio disappeared. Everything was like if you had 1,200 stations, 600 of them got the same show. You were piping in from L.A. or New York.
The only thing that's really close to that now anymore is sports talk radio.
Oh, I listen to KNBR on the way.
Yeah, but even it doesn't.
Sports talk radio is local, and it's usually there's a few local sports talk radio stations.
But it doesn't. But by necessity, does it need to be local? No.
No, it doesn't. But there's a lot of national sports talk radio shows now too. The local sports talk radio shows are going away.
I mean, the radio with the way it is, if in New York City 9/11 happened again, New Yorkers wouldn't know about it unless they turned on their TV set.
Right.
Because the radio stations wouldn't know it, wouldn't be able to do anything about it because all the shows are being piped in from somewhere else.
Right. And the only thing we have here back in the Bay Area now is KCBS, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, local radio was very important as a center for the community, and I think it served a function. It gave people jobs at those radio stations and so on. Now it's
and you got emergency information from them too.
Well, they say that this sports. By the way, it's going to sports, but it's not going to normal sports. It's sports betting.
That's big.
Is the format.
Yeah, there's a big thing going on here about sports betting out here in California.
Yeah, they're trying to pass a law there, right? That FanDuel and people like that.
Not that it doesn't happen here.
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
You have FanDuel out there yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've had it for years, and all of a sudden they're going, "Oh, now you can do it." I'm going, "What the fuck? It's been going on for years."
I think it's horrible. I think it's terrible.
Take it out.
I think that gambling has perhaps ruined more lives.
Well, when they started to let, the Vegas, the teams into Vegas, that's when it all started going downhill.
Yeah. Well,
Raiders, not necessarily the Raiders.
But don't you agree, Kevin, with me?
Started hockey. Hockey was the first team in Vegas.
You shouldn't have any teams in Vegas at all.
Huh?
You should have no teams in Vegas.
But don't you agree with me about betting? That betting has ruined more families. The husband going out and dropping every dime they own. I mean, it's terrible. It's horrible, and I think the fact that they can average.
They let hockey into Vegas first, and then, of course, the Raiders followed, and now I'm sure basketball is going to go in.
LeBron wants they want a team. I told you there was an old. You guys, Kevin, UNLV running Rebels. The college team, their coach. I mean, he had ties. I mean, this is legitimate. They said he had ties to gamblers. They were thinking that some of those games might have been.
Well, no, but you see, here's the horrible part about it. Do you remember? There was a time when gambling could not be involved in sports. You could not be a player and go out and bet.
Go to the game. I watched they got FanDuel.
And now you turn on these sports stations. You turn on a game like the Yankees, and half the ads or 3/4 of the ads
and they got
are all for
about fantasy and everything else.
Yeah, all for.
And there you got Pete Rose sitting there, and they won't touch you.
We won't let him in the Hall of Fame, but we'll run ads and everybody throw the money.
Well, but it's all changed. There was a time when they would just say, "You want to run ads for betting program? No, you can't do that in sports." I mean, if I were the NFL, I would say, we cannot accept ads for betting organizations.
Shit, they got an official sponsor.
Yeah, exactly, but they should.
They have official. Yeah.
It's
You
huge
know
money
what the problem is, though? My opinion on this.
Yeah.
If Pete Rozelle was alive, he never would have had this happen. The new NFL commissioner, he will sell this league out for the buck. It's never enough money now, and the owners don't care. They want every dollar, every fucking dollar.
Yeah.
Well, Alex, Joe Namath had to sell his stake in the nightclub in the city because he was sitting there having drinks with gamblers. Rozelle said, "You can't do that. It's getting in the New York papers."
Yeah. And now gamblers.
Now it's like, yeah, everybody have a party.
Have we vetted who these guys are that own these betting apps?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do we know they're not? How do we know that? How do we know they're not even mob?
It wouldn't shock me if they were getting a cut of it.
You know.
Okay.
I was never a Pete Rose fan, but they should just let him go into the Hall of Fame at this point.
He had
Hey, over 4,000 hits, man.
Yeah.
It's like it's a disease. They don't. You know what? It's he has an illness. That's what that is.
Yeah, and it was never proven. I think that he ever threw a game.
No. That
And-
wasn't
No,
his plan.
It was close the deal he struck with.
It was really never even accused of that. I mean,
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
he never stopped performance on the field. He just, placed wagers.
Well, I think it's terrible that they did what they did to Pete Rose simply because, okay, let's say he does something illegal, does something that's not right. Let's say he beats his wife. Let's say he does something horrible. He still is a baseball great, no matter what.
Still got Barry
All
Bonds
his-
shooting
his records.
roids and everything else.
What?
Yeah.
What were you saying about Barry?
Barry Bonds shooting roids, and he got awards, and he got put in the Hall of Fame and all
Yeah,
of
he's
that.
got the home record in the record book.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
With an
Quote,
asterisk. With an
asterisk.
asterisk. Oh, that's
Yeah, what the hell's
horrible.
all that about?
Boy, what a punishment. An asterisk.
Yeah. Bullshit.
Yeah. Wow.
They liked when he was doing roids in '98 because he would save it in the season. Well, that's Bud Selig. They came off a strike.
Well, what I said about the use of steroids is I don't know. See, I'm not a sports guy, so I just don't know what's wrong with it. Doesn't it make for a better game?
I think it makes him feel
I mean, come on. Guy's going to run faster. He's going to hit harder. And the only people the only thing that matters to the fan is how good a game they get.
Yeah.
Okay, but the reason they don't like him on steroids is because that tips the balance when it comes to the betting.
That's the difference with both of them.
And it's
They were
all these shows, all these football games, all these baseball games on television are there because they're good for gambling.
Well, it's true, Alex. Think about it like this. Friday night comes. Why do we need to know the injury reports in the Daily News?
Yeah.
We found a topic that made the numbers go up. You ready for that?
Yeah, there you go.
And now it's too late because I got to make way for Jack.
It's Alex, a sports show.
Yeah. It's Bennett Sports Talk. Yeah, I just we should get back to this some night because it's a good topic.
That is
really a good
I love
topic.
talking about the gambling side of it.
Yeah, because the reason we make such a big deal about sports right now is the gambling aspect of it. And and now it's going off the walls. You can bet your whole family's income in one night on FanDuel. Good for you.
You can do it on your phone.
Tony's
do it on
picks.
your phone.
Tony's picks. I love my picks.
Tony picks.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, listen, this has been nice. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Thank you, Jeff, for being here. Thank you, Kevin. Always enjoy your presence, and you look so relaxed. I feel like I have to go to sleep right now.
I feel like Shecky.
Yes, and Josh, great talking to you again. Always good having you here and seeing you in that big comfy chair with sports. Oh, you're better, huh? Anyway, no. Charlie, thank you, Alan, and thank you very much to Tony for having joined us tonight. Everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you. Okay, there they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel for tonight. Let me just do a few little cleanup things here and get rid of them. Jack Bishop is next. He's here with The Intersection. That's following this program right here. I'll see you on Monday Monday at 4 o'clock for the pop-up show, and then right back here again, 10:30 Eastern Time on Wednesday for this Ramble. Okay? Till then, I'll see you then. Same time, same station in life, as I always like to say. And by the way, if you see her, you know what to do. Tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody. Have a nice weekend.